Hey, what's the largest problem you're facing right now with your junk removal business? Are you still researching the business and you're looking, hey, where do I get started? Are you not getting enough jobs? Are you slam busy and you're having to turn away work, but you don't know how to take it to the next level, how to hire crews and get more trucks? Are you worried that the crews you have aren't doing a great job or maybe even stealing from you? These are all problems that every junk removal business owner is gonna face as they grow. These are problems I've had and I've learned how to solve. The solutions can be found in the complete Junk Removal Business Training Series. Grow your business, change your life with the JRA Complete Training Series. Hey everybody, welcome. It is Tuesday noon Eastern time. That means it's time for another episode of Let's Talk Junk with Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. I am Lee Godbold. Really appreciate you being here. Look forward to a great show today. Today's show is going to be pretty fun. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to bring in the CEO of Workiz, Adi Azaria, and he is going to be speaking with us about Workiz and how Workiz is helping hundreds of junk removal companies throughout the country, including Junk Removal Authority customers, as well as our very own junk removal company, Junk Doctors. So we will be getting to Adi in just a few minutes. Everybody kind of stay tuned for that. For those of you using Workiz, I think you'll find it pretty valuable. There's probably some features you're not aware of that we might cover. For those of you who aren't using Workiz, I think you're going to find out how Workiz can really help you improve your business tremendously, scale it to multiple trucks, ultimately make more money, and just run a better business. So last week we had some internet issues. We're crossing our fingers that there's no problems today. That actually cut short the live show. We had internet issues for like 20 minutes for the entire day, maybe 30 minutes, and it was just right in the middle of the show. So that's how things go sometimes. But we do have an Amazon gift card giveaway. We're not doing one today, but we have one from last week. So the winner last week was David Koska. So that is a $50 Amazon gift card giveaway. We've got your information, and we will make sure we get that sent out to you. If you're watching today, just give us a shout out and just say that you're watching or whatever in the comment section. If not, David, we're going to get that out to you anyway because we had those internet issues last week. So David Koska, congratulations. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in Adi, and we'll get started with this great interview. Guys, if you have questions throughout this, please feel free to post that in the comments section, questions or comments, and we'll make sure to get to them throughout today's show. Hey, Adi, welcome.
Hi there. Good morning, Lee. How are you?
Doing very well. Excited to have you on the show today.
Same here. Excited to be here, man.
Yep. So if you would, just give everybody kind of a run through on how Workiz kind of got started.
So believe it or not, I was a locksmith about 20 years ago. This is how I found myself in this place. But the founders of Workiz were also locksmiths in San Diego for a long time. Doing the day-to-day drill, car lockouts, house lockouts, and such. And at some point, they realized that most of the business is actually the operational side. I mean, the marketing and the business development, and less the actual work. So they hired a few dozens of people, and they basically took control on most of the West Coast, back in the days, carrying on their own, on their packets, a few cell phones. Every cell phone was a different ad on Facebook, Google, or Yellow Pages. And they realized that they can scale the business really nicely just by controlling the ads, controlling the leads flow that comes in. At some point, they sold the business and thought to themselves, we learned so much about bringing leads in, and so we can consult others. And a natural evolution beyond that point was to take it into the software level. So if we could help ourselves and then help others, what if we can create a software that will be easy enough for junk removal, carpet cleaners, etc. And since then, long story short, they started a business. Couple of hundred customers later, they found me. I'm coming from the high-tech industry. Already created a unicorn in a different field, data field. It's a business intelligence field. And we joined forces, and since then the company is doing very well in North America.
Well, very good. How would you kind of summarize what Workiz is and how it can help junk removal business owners?
So some may call it a CRM, customer relationship for the field service businesses. I see it a little bit different. I mean, you can find a lot of scheduling and fancy calendars out there. There are so many. Where the main difference, specifically with Workiz, is all about communication, and I think you can say that too. The most important thing is to answer the phone immediately, is to get the lead and answer the phone and log the call in the correct way, and eventually gets to the job location. What we do best is we help field services or junk removal guys to answer the incoming call immediately and to reply and to assign a job, the fastest in the world. So if I could indicate one thing that makes us unique, is the communication layer on top of the scheduling system.
Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about the communication system and how Workiz is able to help business owners answer phones and book jobs immediately. Go a little bit more in depth on that if you could.
So Workiz built, instead of building a CRM, we first build a phone system, a voice over IP, that basically serves as I would say, ad receiver. So you can buy phone numbers from us, put those phone numbers in AdWords, in different ads, or even on flyers. Many of our junk removals are actually using flyers these days. This old method actually works very well.
Flyers and yard signs work great.
Yeah. So this is how you can start monitoring, start understanding, does the flyer do better than a Facebook ad or a Google ad? And many of them actually find out about it. It's really a regional thing, and you need to experiment. But in order to experiment, you first need the data. So what we deliver in the Workiz communication system is we deliver different phone numbers. Some of our customers have dozens of them or even thousands of them. They place them on different ads, different locations, and very soon they realize, $500 here, $500 there, which 500 works for you better? So how can we show return on investment on each ad almost on a daily or an hourly basis directly to your pocket? So you can know, should I stop this Facebook ad? Should I stop this Google ad? Should I use local services of my SEO? Does it really matter? And many of them pinpoint their efforts on one or two different ads or platforms, and suddenly starting making a lot of money, spending less.
Very good. What I know is one of the things that we enjoy most about Workiz is the reporting capabilities of it, the data. Now we use it some to track advertising sources, what's working best and what isn't. But we also love the fact that we can actually track how each of our individual techs are doing because they've got their own logins. Can you tell us a little bit about how Workiz helps business owners really understand what's going on with their business in terms of reports? Like, what's a report that a lot of business owners enjoy looking at? And also touch on a little bit on the kind of the tracking capabilities where you can kind of see where your jobs are as well as where your techs are.
Absolutely. So in general, every growing business will have the same pain. I mean, you start bringing your first employee, is probably going to be very good because you train them, you spend a lot of time with them on track. But then you bring another one and suddenly you have 2-3 tracks and you lose control. The only way to control is not to be everywhere all the time. And just go, take a step back, be a real manager and start looking at data. What does it mean? Where they are right now? How much time they spend on the road or at the job site? What is the average sale price? I mean, some technicians can do great upsells. I mean, they just open their eyes, specifically in the junk removal industry, right? And they ask, what about this garage? I mean, what do you do with it? Do you need it cleaned? Do you need to take this hot tub out of your garden? You don't use it for about 10 years. Just by suggesting to client this kind of options, Suddenly clients said, okay, a few $100 more, and I suddenly have my garden, back in shape. And this is the difference between a technician that comes to do the job and a technician that actually try to upsell and create more job for itself and, of course, for the company. So in order to train them, you need to know what are the best people are doing, what type of jobs, what kind of upsells they do on site. And then you start and train the more new guys usually on how to do the same thing to level up. You will always have better guys, and you always have medium people.
Right.
That's part of every business. That's fine, but you want to take everybody a little bit higher. You want to create a better version of themselves. It's easy because they want to make more money. So for us, it's always the easiest way to convince. How do we do that? We created a set of reports to take you from the source, from the actual advertisement, towards the person who answered the call, to who took the job. I mean, it can be a team, of course, not just one person. What type of jobs they were doing? What are the cancellation rates? I mean, many people forget that the canceled job is basically a missing opportunity. Why was it canceled? And in many cases, it's because of the technician. You know, how they answer the phone and where they available. And availability is not always, I'm coming your way in 1 minute. Availability is being transparent. Availability is creating the right, conversation and expectation from a client's perspective. If the client does not expect, they will not be mad at you. But if they expect, you're done. And you see all these items in the data. So the report is basically giving you a full funnel from the advertising up to the profit, because we do have the costs over there, and you can clearly see who's doing better on average, who's doing better on specific jobs, and you'll be surprised who's doing better in different areas with work.
Yeah, 100%. I think one of the things you touched on there was communication, how important that is. If you don't have the availability, it's clearly communicating that with customers. If you're running behind, it's clearly communicating that with customers and trying to give them kind of a worst case scenario on when your arrival time or whatever it is might be. It's very easy. Sometimes you don't want to have those hard conversations with clients or with customers, and you tell them what you think they want to hear, and what's maybe the best case scenario. And then when that winds up not happening, well, then you're kind of left with egg on your face because, you didn't follow through multiple times, not just once, but, the second time you told them, well, we'll be here by then, you still didn't follow through. So I do believe Workiz does help out tremendously on that. One of the features that we love the most about it is from a tech perspective, it's very intuitive. So, when the contact center comes in, they schedule the job, it gets dispatched out to the tech gets a text message. And then also by accessing their application, they can clearly see job address, what they have, even a picture of the house, street view and all kind of pops on there. They can call and they can text right from the app. So you've done an extremely good job from the making it so intuitive for the truck teams to be able to clearly do their job. So one of the features that I find to be very interesting that I admit we haven't used much about is the Zoom functionality that you guys added last year. Talk to me a little bit about how that Zoom functionality might be of a benefit to a junk removal business owner.
Absolutely. So a short story prior to that. I mean, when the pandemic hit the States, I mean, we clearly saw a need from our clients to do what we call a no-touch interactions. Many of the end clients requested people to come with masks, with gloves, and so on. It changed a little bit in the past few months, luckily, but at the same time, we saw a huge opportunity in that sense. I mean, why would you drive an hour to give somebody an estimate once they just can send you a video? Would it be better to create some kind of a video interaction, Zoom in that case, and guide them through the pile of junk? Okay, you charge by the weight, right? So you charge by the weight and by the size. There are many aspects of the job. So in many cases, you want to be physically there to assess how heavy it is, what's the how far it is from a road, and so on. But you can do all this with a video, just by guiding somebody through the estimates. So we've decided to add into every job the ability to send the client basically a text message with a Zoom link. Everybody has Zoom today. I mean, it's easy. Everybody knows how to use it, luckily. And we clearly see people are using it almost on a daily basis, doing estimates, saving themselves a lot of time. By the way, Lee, do you know what are the percentage, the success percentage of an estimate in junk removal?
Well, once you're on site, once you make it on site, I mean, as a general rule, you're going to close about 90, 93%, somewhere in that range. You have some guys that might close 99%. They're normally too cheap on pricing, or they're the business owner and they're just very good at selling. But around 93% is pretty average.
Great, and all this by, reframing the price offer. So what we've done is basically creating this video estimate. You get the video later on as a recording. You can go through that maybe with your team. Maybe they find something that you haven't noticed, and then you can give a clear estimate. It goes back to the communication. If your estimate is clear enough, nobody's going to get disappointed. If you're gonna take it, give them a very low price, get to the site and see that this should be twice as much, you will always get a disappointed client, even if you're right.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of truth to that for sure. So, guys, as you're watching this, Workiz is something that we've talked about from time to time on, throughout the YouTube videos. Those of you that use our contact center are using Workiz. We require everybody to use Workiz that uses our contact center. That keeps everything very uniform. We came from a system, another system that worked well for a time. They never really innovated or improved. It was also pretty expensive. It was actually pricier than Workiz. Now, Adi, this isn't don't go off and raise prices on us now because I said this, but Workiz it's a much more capable system for less money than the other system we were using, which was a well-known system. It was founded probably 10 years ago. They just hardly ever improved, whereas Workiz is always kind of on the cutting edge and getting better all the time, which is something that we try and do here as well. So that really resonates with me. If you guys are interested in signing up for Workiz, there is a link in the description of this video where we've got some sort of a discount offer. I should know that off the top of my head, but I don't. But if you go to that link, there's a discount offer on getting started with it. Also, if you want more information, kind of want to get a demo, we will have a registration link. If it's not posted yet, there will be a registration link where we'll do a joint demo, JRA, with Workiz. We'll demonstrate the platform and give you a visible demonstration on how it can really benefit your business. So, Adi, we're talking about improvements and all. You got anything you can tell us that might be coming up?
Let's talk about what happened in the past few months, specifically for junk removal, because this is what we do best. I guess that we see ourselves as the leaders in scheduling software for junk removals. The most common request came from you guys, I guess, and many of our junk removal customers. It's basically adding tips. And guys, if you're not doing it, you're not using it today, you definitely need to. Just a few numbers, right? So once you enable tips, you suddenly see in almost every job that you get a tip, you'll get about $35 on average more, just as the tipping feature. People like to give tips. If you're nice enough, they're going to give you even more. And junk removal is definitely the leading market as far as what we can see from a tip perspective, and that's great. We also added credit card on files. I don't know if you guys doing maintenance, but if any of you is doing maintenance and you don't want to ask for the credit card all over again, credit cards can be saved in the system, so you don't need to take it over and over again. If you want to accumulate invoices, so basically you do four or five jobs a month and one invoice only once, that's also a possibility in the system. So a lot of new features around the finance of the business. We clearly see a huge increase on people are giving tips and using credit cards on files. If you're really using these kind of features, you can scale your business easily with just the one checkbox change. We added the queuing system. So very much like the most modern call centers in the world, just reachable. You don't need to spend a lot of money to do one thing. And I guess that the queuing system is great, but if I was a locksmith back again, I would not lose so much business, because you're in a call with other client, and in so many cases you have another call coming in. Now, usually when you use your cell phone, you're gonna go back to voicemail, and nobody leaves for voicemails. And on the other hand, when you use Workiz phone, you suddenly get people on the queue. So this person gets, hello, you got to Joe, the John guy, and it sounds very professional. I'll be with you immediately. Please stay on the line. And you get over with one customer, and you get another customer. And guess what? This customer, if it doesn't get you over the phone, he calls somebody else. Okay, this is how easy the world is. So the queuing feature in the phone, like it's called Cold Queue, allows you to present yourself as very professional. Customers actually love that. They will wait on the line for a few minutes easily. We see that all the time, and you gain more and more work just by using it. You need to transfer this call to somebody else. With a single click, you get to send it to somebody else. You want to have a conference, you suddenly have a conference capability within your cell phone. And I know this is options that you already have on your cell phone. Not a call queue, but most of the other things are there right now. But it's your personal cell phone. And the big news here is how would you look more professional? How would you answer in more professional way? The only way to do that is to separate, create a voice over IP, or use, of course, the phone capabilities of GRA, and answer more professionally. So customers will take more of your services. It's an easy choice.
Yeah, very good. And Junk 180 just commented also he loves the tip feature. So he said he's seen an increase in tips just by adding that on there. So all the junk removal team members out there, I'm sure you've helped them make more money as well as the business owners. So one of the things people that watch his channel very much, most of them are business owners. A lot of them are into self-improvement. I'd like to switch gears just a little bit here and go from directly talking about Workiz to, if you wouldn't mind, just tell us a little bit of your story.
So, I mean, I was a medium in anything. I mean, really, in high school and throughout school, I was a lousy student. I played soccer my entire high school, I guess. I was pretty good at soccer. Didn't make a career out of it. And at some point, I mean, in Israel, you have to go to the army. It's mandatory. And somebody thought I'm interesting enough to get to an elite unit. This is where I found myself in a place where everybody were brilliant. I mean, I never seen such. It's like getting to the I don't know, LA Lakers and start playing when you're very junior. I suddenly realized that I can be much better. And then when you work hard, even if it's challenging, when you work hard, when you do the extra time, and when you push yourself to the limits, you suddenly become a different version of yourself. And once you bring your past, and in my case, I was born in a small village. Everybody were medium around me. I brought some of the the secret ingredients of the small village to this place, and suddenly I made a difference. My first startup was actually there, and at some point it went throughout the entire Israeli army. This small idea, and I understood that I can create an impact, very much like what you do in JRM. I mean, you started as a small company, you did it on your own. You with your bare hands, and you realize that you can make an impact. Once I understood it about myself, everybody said the sky is the limit. I say there is no sky. And if you think this way, you suddenly can conquer the world. So I finished the army, and I was pretty good over there. I went to travel the world, found myself in LA at some point, worked as a locksmith. I'm not a great locksmith, but I can understand the ins and outs of the business pretty good. went back to university, did my computer science degree, and opened a company called Sisense with a few of my friends. Again, getting off my comfort zone. So that's maybe my best tip of life. I mean, when you feel uncomfortable, it's probably a good place to be. It usually means that you're doing something right.
Yep.
Okay. Just take your dating life. When you feel scared about speaking to some lady or boy, right? It usually means that you're going to be going to get to a better place.
Yeah.
But you have to speak. You have to get uncomfortable. It's very similar in the business world. When I was doing my first webinar, I was shaking. When I went to speak to a 2,000 people crowd, I was sweating. But once I realized that this is uncomfortable for me, I started to succeed.
Yeah.
And since then, I'm doing all the things. I mean, in a normal phase. My past company, I've been there for 13 years. I've done every different job that I could. I mean, from sales to development and selling, products in $50 and $50,000 in the same time.
Yeah.
The company is now worth billions, and it occupies thousands of people all around the world. Yeah. My journey is all about being uncomfortable, pushing myself into the limits.
Yeah, and that similar experience in terms of getting uncomfortable. One of the things that I see a lot of times, and I was guilty of this at one point, is you'd get uncomfortable and then you'd back down. You'd be like, I don't really like this, and you'd take a step back and you wouldn't do the things that are necessary to kind of get done. We've got some stuff we're working on right now where we're kind of uncomfortable, and not just me, but other people that are working with us as well. And that, a lot of times some self-doubt can start kind of slipping in there, and you can be like, is this not really going to work out? Am I doing all this work? Am I putting myself out here? I'm going to look like a fool because it's not going to work. That's the point where you got to really just stay right there, and you have to continue accelerating and stay uncomfortable. And then I've always found that you do it long enough, you're going to succeed with it. So I think we're very much alike in that sense. What guys would like to do now is open up any questions for Adi before we kind of close out. Again, this is the CEO of Workiz, Adi Azaria. Workiz has been around for how long, Adi? At least 15, 20 years. Is that right? 10 years?
I mean, the startup itself started about in 2015 officially.
It was something else before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sisense. For my previous, you mean Workiz company?
Yeah, I thought Workiz was a job or something that went farther back. But anyway,
in 2015 we changed it to Workiz at 2019.
Okay, so it's been in business for 6 years or so now. The story goes farther back. The founders of it were locksmiths, and they just kind of built out a system to help them run their business better and realize they had something they'd like to share with everybody else. Kind of much like, JRA with junk doctors and the junk removal industry. It's very, very similar story there. So do you guys have any questions about the Workiz platform? If so, please post them. Matt, do we have anything that's popped up? What you got? And we're coming in a little blurry on here. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that. But
I think it's your laptop.
Oh, is it? Okay. Got it.
All right, so we got a couple questions. We got one from Rich and Nick. They said, will Workiz become compatible with ADP payroll?
Interesting question. We did a Gusto integration a few months ago. We are. I cannot promise when it's going to happen, but it's probably going to happen. So cool. The answer is yes.
Wow, that's new stuff. I wasn't even aware of that. Great question there, Jump Police. What else we got?
All right, Juan from Bayhall says,
can Workiz add a digital checklist? Also wait for clients to see the truck member profile before they arrive and track their arrival, Uber style.
So I understand the first part of the question. Let me answer that, and then let's see what's the second part, which I I need probably elaboration over there. So digital checklist. I mean, Workiz is the most customizable software out there. I mean, similarly to Salesforce, you can add any custom fields, and some of these custom fields can come from a specific job. So let's assume you have a specific job type that requires a checklist. What you can do is set a set of fields. In this case, it would be a checklist that the technician or the customer can check in order to make sure that everything was in the right place. We're doing it a lot in the garage door industry, where they need to do a lot of tests before they leave the place or before they even give estimates. This, as I mentioned, is related to the job type. So you can actually create different checklists, different custom fields per different job type. And in that sense, make it very flexible. You can also make these fields mandatory for a specific job status. So you cannot end a job without making sure the checklist is there. You can also add tasks for each job, which also creates mini tasks where you can assign them prior to the job, a week before the job, a day before the job, so technicians can be assigned to them. Another question was to track the team member profile. Okay, got you. So this relates to where is my technician? It's a good question. We are working on a few different angles over here. It's not out yet. Not like Uber. Many technicians actually do not want this to be known. I mean, there are many ways. I mean, let's talk about the ins and outs of the business. You don't want to give false information. You definitely don't want to tell the client that you're eating lunch right now, and you do need to eat lunch. And in that sense, you don't want the client to know that you're in McDonald's at this point. On the other hand, you might want some kind of estimation, a clear estimation when the clients when the technician will arrive. So we try to take that route instead of actually showing where the Uber driver is. We care a lot about your personal information. And being in a hospital, being in a McDonald's is personal information in many cases. It's not like a Uber driver. So we'll take a different approach over there. You're probably going to like it. Right now, we have two options. You can text the client, I'm late, or when you're going to arrive using a one-click in the software.
And Adi, I think also what he's talking about is much like with Uber, you can actually see a profile of the driver. You've got their picture, maybe it's a little bit of information on them or something like that. I think he's kind of inquiring if you guys have thought about building something out when the truck team's on the way, that the potential customers can actually look and see, who's going to be coming that way, maybe a picture of them.
Yeah, very good point. We did the first step over there where every technician can actually add their pictures in the mobile app. So now we have their pictures and their name. The next step is, of course, to create what we call a client portal to maintain or to solve this challenge. So we have a lot of requests from clients to do that. We're working on a new, interesting, features to solve that.
Very good. One more. All right, well, good. We have time for one more, so let's do it.
Okay, so this question is from Junk18. Workiz has a function to transfer an estimate to a job. It'd be nice to have an option to transfer a job to an estimate. Any plans on adding this feature?
Why do you think people will need to transfer a job to an estimate?
Well, this is sort of specific to how junk removal works, because I can add this. So junk removal, I'm not going to say it's completely not like other industries, but because there are some that are similar. But normally we get on site, we do the estimate and the job at the exact same time. So we book it as a job because we have the intention of doing it. We get on site, we provide the price quote, but then the customer, let's say the customer all of a sudden decides, you know what, I want to get some more estimates. Now, the chances are you're never going to do that job, most likely, if you can't sell it right then and there. So, try and negotiate with them and sell the service, the value, the fact you're already there, the fact that who we are, we've shopped our competition, pricing's pretty similar. We can be done with this in an hour and a half, a couple hours, 2 hours or 30 minutes or whatever, and then you're done with it. And then we take the stuff off, we donate, recycle it, whatever. And oftentimes you can salvage that job just with some good salesmanship. But what occasionally occurs is a customer wants to gather a few more estimates. So what Junk 180 is referring to there is he wants to be able to convert what he thought was going to be a job over to an estimate to have it in his system. That way, if the customer then turns back around and says, you know what, we'd like to go with you, that he can convert that back into a job.
Gotcha. Great information, and I'll look into it about the scenario and how does other clients are doing that. Definitely going to take it into consideration. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something we've ever really, I think we've thought about, but we've never actually brought to you. And on your end, I'm not sure, obviously, the logistics in terms of the technical aspect to do it, but it would be valuable. Where that stacks in your list of priorities, I don't know, but I mean, it is something that we get asked about.
We usually believe that jobs, when you set a job and you drove over there, you need to analyze all this data at the end of the month, even if you do only 10 jobs a month. What we see as a job is important, because when you go and look onto cancellations, which does not exist in estimate. Estimates is win or loss, but job has statuses. And when you have a cancellation reason, you can actually add it at Workiz. You can figure out why this job was canceled and what was the price of the job. When you do an estimate, you just have a win-loss, and it just lost in the reports. When you do a job, it is related to a source. Okay, so you can see, okay, all these Facebook ads became jobs that were canceled eventually. So we take the analytics approach here, and that's why we're doing it like this. Estimate is it's a different creature, and usually this is why it goes directly to a job.
All right. Very good. Appreciate you kind of considering that. Guys, that's probably good on questions for Adi right now. I think we slated about a half hour, 45 minutes on this, and we're pretty much bumping up on that. So, Adi, really appreciate you being on the show today. Also, guys, remember, you can schedule, if you're not doing Workiz now and you'd like a live demonstration with JRA and Workiz, combo of both, there's a registration link in the description. If you guys are ready to purchase, if you've been thinking about it, you're ready to buy, there is a link also to purchase in the description as well. There is a discount associated with that, and that is an affiliate link, so we do get a little bit from that, but you yourself are benefited as well because there is a discount offer that's being run there. Dee, thanks for coming on.
From GRA, you're going to get a much better offer. I can promise you that.
All right. Well, and we really appreciate working with you and everybody. Almost all the clients. I say almost. I can't even think of a client that hasn't enjoyed Workiz once they switched over. I don't know as if we've ever really, you have that data, but I'm not sure of anybody that's ever joined it and left. So you guys have a great thing going on, and we look forward to working with you and growing with you in the future.
Thank you very much for having me today, Lee.
We'll do it again soon. Thanks, Adi.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, guys. Well, pretty cool. That is Adi Azaria with Workiz, CEO of Workiz. He actually visited us about a year and a half ago here in our Raleigh or Apex, North Carolina, right outside of Raleigh offices, our old office, the old doctor's office. And we've since moved into a larger place, and we look forward to working with Adi and Workiz in the future. They've been great. We've the neat thing is we've formed a pretty good relationship with them for the past couple of years. We've sent them a lot of clients, but the nice thing about that is because we've sent them so many, is now we're able to kind of be kind of an advocate for the junk removal industry, and junk removal gets a lot of attention. I don't know the percentage of clients that their clients that are junk removal. I do know it's very high. My understanding is junk removal is, if not the best, at least one of the top 2 or 3 industries for Workiz. So they've really put a lot of focus in on it, and we've seen a lot of changes over the last 3 years or so that we've been using them. If you have any general junk removal questions, please feel free to post them in the comments. If we'll answer a couple of them. Are there any other questions that have popped up? Any comments we'd like to cover here, Matt? Well, very good. Again, congratulations to David Koska, winner of our $50 Amazon giveaway from last week. As always, we appreciate each and every one of you watching. We'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. And again, this is Lee Godbold with Let's Talk Junk. Every Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, brought to you by Junk Removal Authority, where we help junk removal business owners make more money and live a better life. See you next week. Junk removal business owners, the complete training series for the junk removal industry is out. Learn how to get more customers, grow faster, build an amazing team, get off the truck, and make more money. Check it out.